drip, that's water, call that boss. You try my squad and they gon' be in cost. You better be prepared to take a loss. I left my enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce, no it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. No it ain't sauce, no it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce, it ain't sauce.
Hello people, it's your boy Office Man. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will be reacting to The WillExperience doing a movie review of the worst movie ever, Snow White. Whew, I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Yeah, so we're about to see what my great friend Will the Experience has to say about Snow White. I'm a little behind, so I kind of got to this point where if I'm ever behind and then he does a review or does like a reaction or something, I'm gonna just watch his, and then I always like to give him more. It always gives him more content, always gives me more content, or as Cash Nasty says, helps pays bills. So, gotta do that back and forth. But as for a quick opinion about Snow White, like I usually say about every live action remake, Disney remake, it's not better than the original, and most of them are indeed trash. And Snow White may be the top 5, one of the worst, like one of the worst. I don't think any one of them are ever going to be better. I think the only Disney live action remakes we got that will actually be good is Cinderella and Cruella. I don't think any of the other ones are actually, and even Cinderella and Cruella have problems. So, but this was just, like, especially, I'm not even gonna get into the galgadot stuff, but you're going to see. But we're going to see what we just going to see what Will has to say, and then we'll talk more about it as we get through it. So without further ado, we start this video in a 3, 2, 1. Couple of these. I think the only ones I won't be reacting to is Megan. Won't be reacting to Megan.
Ain't sauce, no it ain't
I
sauce.
won't be reacting
Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce.
There was another one we did, but those, I know those. Oh, the woman in black, the woman outside, the woman in black.
It ain't sauce.
I didn't see any of those.
Never
So
take
I
a
can't
loss.
really
Never take a
have
loss.
an
All
opinion
we
on
do
them.
is win. They wishing bad on my name, but that was back then. Now a nigga up. I'm never going down. Driving that Maserati.
I missed the old intro so
What's
much.
good, YouTube? It's your boy Will back from another video. Yo, I recently saw
Damn, we both need haircuts. We need to get them bits. Damn.
the new Snow White movie. Let me just say the rest right now, y'all. That is probably
This video is only 4 minutes, so it must be quick and simple. Ain't a lot to say about this movie. That's how bad it is. It should have been this long.
the worst Disney movie I've ever seen. Not even just Disney live action remake. The worst Disney movie I've ever seen.
Worst Disney movie.
Forget
Worst Disney movie? Are we including Disney originals? Or are you just talking like princesses and stuff? Like, I need to know what we mean by that, because I can name a couple of bad Disney movies, but we just talking like the princesses and like the Lion King type, like that stuff. Then yeah, I agree.
forget about live action Mulan for a second. This shit right here, y'all, is disgusting.
I actually need to think about that. Is Mulan worse or is this worse? I feel like Mulan probably would have at least been a little bit decent if it had the singing in it and if Eddie Murphy was in it. But this, I think this would be bad regardless. I don't really think this would, like, I don't think no changes would make this better. I think this would be bad, like, regardless.
Like it's sad. I mean, obviously, I understand Disney got that money where they can make bad movies and and brush it off like enough happen because they got
Yeah, but
lots
we
of
don't
money,
need Disney
Marvel, all this
becoming
stuff,
Sony, though. Like, that's kind of
to
crazy.
like because forget about it. But Snow White was like terrible, y'all. First off, let's talk about how it was doomed from the start off of just the things that Rachelzegler was saying. So off the rip, no one wanted her to be Snow White, and then, the controversy of people thinking that the Snow White the doors were just humans, but just like different races.
I never got the whole it was disrespectful to cast actual midgets when if they actually went out to find midgets that wanted to do the role, it wouldn't have been disrespectful because they actually auditioned and wanted to do that role. So it wouldn't have been disrespectful. As for the actress that plays Snow White, I get that the original is dated, but the whole purpose of Snow White Cinderella, Princess and the Frog. They're fairy tales. They're fairy tales. These are not females. None of the whole point is that you're living a fairy tale. You're living this dream where you're going to be rescued by your knight in shiny armor, and you're going to get married and live happily ever after. That's the whole purpose. Trying to change that and make it where these women are strong and independent, like, you don't need to do that with the Disney princesses, especially since you already have a couple of Disney like female characters that do that, and you already have female characters that do that. Like, you already got characters like Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley that show that they can be independent females. Like, you don't need to do that with the Disney princesses. Like, that's kind of very unnecessary. Like, it's not needed. And as for Disney, you already got characters like Alaska Girl, the girl from Brave, Princess Jasmine, who wanted to be independent. Like, you already have that. You don't need to force that on every single character, especially when that's not how the stories are supposed to be.
When you watch the movie, you go to see that obviously those aren't the dwarfs, the ones from the set photos. Those are like the helpers of the people outside. But to be honest, I like the way the dwarfs look. I'll be honest. I
They
might
look
be
cartoony.
like
They look
a
like the
minority
show.
on that part, but I
I mean,
like the
not
way
the
the
show, the
dwarfs look.
movie.
They look pretty cool.
Even though
But
I
the story,
I
y'all, is
thought the movie was
terrible. Gal
terrifying,
Gadot to
but
me is
yeah,
not a believable evil witch. I feel like she just wanted to laugh and have fun the whole time. I just don't like. I didn't like it, y'all. And then Rachel Zegler, it was just something about her,
I think Gal Gadot wasn't even just bad casting because of her performance. Gal Gadot was bad casting because you got an actress that looked better than Snow White. No disrespect, but Gal Gadot, the whole point of the Evil Queen is she's supposed to be ugly. She's not supposed to get ugly when she becomes the witch. She's supposed to already be somewhat not that attractive before she becomes the witch. You got Gal Gadot, and Gal Gadot already looks better. So there's no reason. It makes no sense for you to. For the story just doesn't make no sense because she just doesn't look better. Like, Snow White doesn't look better.
her facials and stuff was throwing me off. She just didn't fit right. Like, you know how people say aura? It has to be like the opposite of.
Gal Gadot is like if Robert Pattinson, Charlie Cox, and Tom Holland had no control of their accents and they just let their accents just constantly speak through the entire time. That's pretty much what happens with Gal Gadot whenever she acts. Like, I feel like Gal Gadot still hasn't figured out a way to like control like her accent, because she sometimes she'll act and I could tell she's really trying hard, and I give her credit. Like, I give her credit in Wonder Woman. Like, I can tell that she's trying to go somewhere with what she's saying, but it just sounds off because I don't know if it's her voice, how she presents herself, her movements, like her facial expressions, like something just always feels off in her performance.
Opposite of that. Like, that's how I felt in the movie. Like, she had like the opposite aura. It was like it was bad, y'all.
No
I'm
aura,
not gonna
no
like
aura
rant about it too much, but
displayed.
y'all, please do not go see this movie. Do not waste your money. Let the studio know how bad of a decision that
Yeah,
they
y'all
did.
already
Obviously,
gave
like
Lion
I keep
King a
telling
bunch of
y'all,
money.
I am a fan of live
You don't
action
need to give
remakes,
this
but it
movie
gets
any
to a
more
point,
money,
dude.
please.
Especially with stuff like Snow White, Cinderella, all that shit. I don't want to see no more Snow Whites, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella's. Like, do some ones that that's different. But it gets to a point, dude. Like, this Snow White shit was ass, y'all.
Disney, if you're going to do this, why not just come up with new characters and just start off live action instead of starting off animation? Why are you trying to remake all of your live? Why are you trying to remake all of the stuff you already made good? Like, why? Like, if this is what we're doing with characters like this, and y'all plan on doing more, y'all plan on doing Pocahontas and Tarzan, I'm gonna kill myself because I don't know what to do. And other than Stitch looking the part, I don't really know what they're going to do with Lilo and Stitch and how the rest of that movie is going to fare out. It could generally be terrible, but look the part. So
Uh, Probably the worst movie. I'm not gonna say worst movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty bad for a Disney movie. And Disney's very high, being held to high
if Snow White ever reached Madam Web territory, then Disney really needed to, because like I said, I don't think that I said this 1,000 times before. Madam Web is the pinnacle of trash. Like, there's nothing. Like, there's no way you looked at the script and was like, we're going to send this out and keep it going. Snow White never gets to that point, but it is bad.
the higher standards than most movies. So it's sad But I felt like it was doomed, and everyone knew how bad it was going to be. But when you actually go see it, it's pretty bad. I'll be honest. I fell asleep in the movie theaters. That's how bad it
Fell asleep
was.
is crazy.
Like, it was very cringe. Ugh. The only
Oh,
part I liked was that hi ho, hi ho,
oh,
hi
you didn't
ho,
like that part?
hi ho. The way we go.
It was better
That's
than
the only
the
part that I
original.
like, y'all.
Better than
I
the
don't know
original.
what y'all. You let me know how you feel about that in the comments, y'all. But I'm not a fan of the movie. Hey, I'm not a fan of the actor either. Rachel Zegler, I'm not a fan of you. I'm be honest. I'm not gonna be a hater and be like, I'm just because I'm hating on her, I'm hating on the movie. But the movie was actually bad. I felt bad for.
I will give her props. I will give her props. Her acting is actually pretty good. I will give her props from that, and her singing is actually good. She is actually, if not the only good singer in the movie. Galgadot, but her, she did fine. Snow White, other than her skin not being as pale as snow, she pretty much acts the part for what the script is saying and what is given, and her singing was good. So I'll give her that.
For Gal Gadot, she deserved better than that. Obviously, because she's in a forgettable movie that people we're not going to remember. We're like in a period of like where movies are like hold to higher standards because we're getting like big time movies.
Yep,
But these like
that is true.
ass movies, they will be ass, and we will let you know they're ass. But yeah, don't see Snow White at home. Don't see Snow White in theaters, y'all. Just forget about Snow White even came out. Without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys.
I got you. I mean, you can check it out at home if you really want to. You can check it out at home. I wouldn't advise it, but you know, if you really want to check it out, you can check it out. But yeah, that was his review on Snow White. Pretty quick. Ain't really much to say. The movie is trash, plain and simple. You pretty much got somewhat of my opinion. If I was to rate it out of 10, it would probably be like on a good day. If I'm being generous, it might get a 4, but other than that, it's a 3 out of 10. Like it's a 3 out of 10. And as for its rank in like the live action stuff, if we was starting, if one was the worst and we was going worst to best, then it would be number 1. But other than that, it's like at the very bottom. Like this isn't even a one that I would tell you to watch. Like I would just say to straight up skip it. Like it's just that bad. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.